The Republicans are celebrating President Trump's first 100 days in office. The other side of the coin, Democrat leaders have made it their focus to decry the so-called 100 days of chaos, as they describe it. They're labeling President Trump and his administration as disasters. And as they frequently do, Democrats are also projecting. Yep, they're accusing the Trump administration of lawlessness, of weaponization, which frankly is what we saw during the Biden administration. But isn't what we're now seeing actually a crackdown on lawlessness and weaponization? Well, here to discuss it now with me is Congressman Tom Tiffany. He serves on the Judiciary Committee. He also represents the 7th Congressional District of Wisconsin. Congressman Tiffany, welcome back to Washington Watch. Always good to see you, my friend.
It's been a long time, Jody. Really good to hear your voice.
Well, likewise, and great to see you. All right, let's talk about Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries hosted in a unified Democrat speech from the steps of the Capitol today, doing nothing other than just bashing the Trump administration. But what was your reaction to what the Democrats have been saying about the president's first 100 days?
Yeah, don't be fooled by the so-called unified front, because Democrats are anything but unified at this point. And about all they can do at this point, Jody, is they can just scream that what Republicans are doing is wrong, dictator, and all the various things like that. And President Trump is following through on what he said he would do last fall and what people voted for on November 5th. Look at a secure border. It is incredible how the border has been secured. And once he can start removing these illegal aliens, oftentimes criminal illegal aliens, we will have success there also. I want to point something out to you, though, Jody, that you don't hear very often. I am hearing from my in-district personnel that the agencies of the executive branch are really doing their job now. We all get complaints. You know about it, Jody, whether it's the Veterans Administration, IRS, whatever the case may be. We get constituent complaints. Well, those things rarely got resolved during the Biden administration. Now with President Trump in office, just for 100 days, my staff is telling me it is amazing the speed that the agency people are working at. And that is good news, saying that the agency heads are getting to the agency personnel and saying, you're going to act on the concerns that are being brought to you by the American people.
Absolutely. Great news, and I think a strong point that needs an exclamation behind it. And I look to Representative Tiffany at the Democrats right now. They're laying out what they are saying is a blueprint for a better America. Frankly, it doesn't sound like they have anything right now other than just to complain and bash the Trump administration. But their blueprint just is nothing different. It's just attack the president. Did they not learn anything from the last election, that strategy doesn't work?
I think a good example of that, Jody, would be Governor Pritzker, from Illinois, who just gave that speech out in one of the northeastern states, where he just basically doubled down. We're going to have boys and girls sports. We legalized marijuana in Illinois. That's a great success. We legalized abortion. All these things like that, they're pointing as a success. That's the reason they were defeated on November 5th. So they're just doubling down on failure. And it's unfortunate for people who live in those blue states that have to live with a rule, with political leaders like a Governor Pritzker, who are taking their states down the toilet. And it's not hard to find the states that are failing. Wisconsin, we have neighbors like Illinois and Minnesota with failed governors. And it's unfortunate to see what's happening. But what is happening then is people are fleeing. They're making a decision with their feet. And that's why they're headed to the successful states that are largely run by red state governors.
And many of them are fleeing parties as well. We're watching that in huge numbers. What do you think? I don't know if you were able to see it a few moments ago before you came on. I played a clip of Senator Schumer accusing Trump of weaponizing the government and that type of thing. What do you make of this statement coming from the senator, particularly in light of what we saw in the last administration?
I mean, think about Senator Schumer, what he said in regards to what did he say? Kavanaugh and Gorsuch, be careful, you're going to reap the whirlwind. I mean, he basically put a target on the back of two Supreme Court justices. Senator Schumer is being dismissed by the American people because they know it's just rhetoric. He's not providing results for the American people like they voted for on November 5th and like they're getting now. When we get through the whole tariffs thing and we get this reconciliation bill done, I think you're going to see greater certainty for the American people. I can't wait to see what's ahead for America a year from now as we get some of these things put in place by Congress and the executive branch. I do believe that America's best days are ahead of us.
Wow. Great to hear. And, you know, I look at this first 100 days compared to the accusations from Schumer and other Democrats. Really what the president's doing is cracking down on lawlessness, not committing lawlessness. He's trying to deal with it. But let's go on, if we can, on this topic, I guess, of lawlessness. Right there in your own state of Wisconsin, a judge accused of trying to aid an illegal immigrant in evading arrest has been now suspended from the bench. What's your reaction to that news?
Well, first of all, I was surprised that our liberal state Supreme Court did it, but pleasantly surprised. And it was an appropriate action by them. And it is important that what the Department of Justice did, the federal Department of Justice, saying, we're not going to accept judges who are truly saying they are above the law. I mean, this judge went after the ICE agents that were there and was screaming at them, and then led this illegal alien out a side door and tried to set them free while you had the people who were harmed by the illegal alien sitting in the court, looking out for the perpetrator rather than for victims. And I think that says everything about the Democrat Party at this point. They would rather look out for the perpetrators rather than the victims. And I would, to your point in regards to President Trump and the rule of law, I believe it's amazing the restraint that he's shown in the face of judges like this one in Milwaukee. But hopefully, by holding her to account, this will send a strong message that judges, you need to make sure you stay in your lane and do your job and not try to be the executive branch.
Yeah, and that suspension, to me, is as good as impeachment. It sends a strong message to other judges. We've got about 30 seconds for your answer here. You've got a bill dealing with how the U.S. involvement with the World Trade Center should be handled. Real quickly, give us a bird's eye view of that.
Yeah, it's simply to remove the United States of America from the World Trade Organization, globalist enterprise. There's not been a vote in 20 years. We can vote in Congress every 5 years. That's up this year. We should have a vote. Should we be in this organization that puts China's interests ahead of America? I can't wait to see if we can get a vote. I'm so pleased to be able to introduce that bill.
Congressman Tom Tiffany of Wisconsin, thank you for your leadership. Thank you, as always, for coming back on Washington Watch. Great to see you.